going on? What's going on? How y'all doing? Happy Wednesday. Y'all, we made it this far. I'm excited because the hump is almost over. Yes, this has been a real life hump, and I'm excited that it's almost over. Y'all, today I'm excited about this conversation on today. I never should say that I'm excited about talking about the topic that we're going to talk about, but it's because the person that I'm going to be talking with, I'm excited to have this conversation with him on tonight. A proud member of New Prospect Baptist Church. Yes, he is. So that's why I'm even the more excited to have this conversation with him. But how y'all doing? Come on in the room. Do me a favor as y'all coming in, hit that share button, hit the share button, like the video. Let somebody know that we're having this conversation on tonight because again, this is vital information. We are in the month of May, and we recognize the month of May as Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're taking our mental health even the more serious in the month of May. We're going to be proactive about our mental health. It's very vital that we be proactive with our mental health. And in this month, we're going to have some serious conversations. Last week, we talking about operating in grief and leadership. Today, we're going to be talking about depression in our everyday life. Like dealing with depression. How do we overcome it? How do you recognize it? How did you recognize it? Let's have the conversation. So talk back with us in the comments. Share the video again. Share the video. Share the video. But tonight, we have my brother, your brother, the city's brother, everybody's musician, everybody's go-to person, everybody's friend, because he's everybody's friend. He knows everybody. You can't go one place without somebody saying Jerome Johnson. So that's who we having tonight. I'm excited about having my brother on tonight. Let's get Jerome on to have this conversation. He gonna be real serious too, y'all. Watch this.
No,
What's up? What's up? What's
what's
up?
going on?
Because
How
you
are
didn't
you?
even say hi to me backstage either. I just want that to be known.
I didn't know if I could speak on backstage. I didn't know what was going on, but you sounded good, man. I mean,
No,
intro was great. Proud,
see, here we go. He be judging.
proud.
Yeah, he
No,
be
for
judging.
real. I'm a proud man. Proud, proud.
No,
No, seriously.
no. I made that up on the spot too. So just know that there's no script here. So we're gonna go off. So if I say something wrong, there's no judgment zone. We call
Can
this
I
no.
yell? It's about to go down. It's about to go. No, not right
No,
here. Okay,
that's
cool. All right.
trademark. That's
Okay,
trademark.
my bad.
I might have to sue you. So
My bad.
be
My bad.
careful.
All
Be
right, cool.
careful. Be careful. No, but how are you? How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. No complaints. Thank you all for having me on the show. I think that this topic is huge, right? Even right now, with the way of the world, with the movement of our young people, this is a huge topic, a much needed topic to talk about and really try to find ways to manage. Really, that's the biggest piece. So, yeah, thank you for that.
No, no problem. Look, we thank you for accepting. We were literally, I'll tell you how this came about because you kind of don't know. So we were literally having a conversation after a show about who can be the guest on the show. Because if you didn't watch last week, we had the CEO, which is both you and I friend, Charisma, was
Mhm.
on last week, and we were talking about the topic. And we were like, who can we get on? Who can be open? Who would be open to have a conversation about something? I really don't know because it's not been you and I have a whole lot of conversation. And I'm not saying that we ever had a conversation about this, but your name dropped in my spirit. And I said, I'm just gonna call Jerome. And I didn't even tell them. So I called you and right on the spot, you was like, yeah, I could talk about that. Yeah. And I didn't even
Yeah, no
know that you
doubt.
were gonna like actually like say that you even dealt with it. So I'm really proud of you
Hmm.
for
Hmm.
stepping up and actually like
Hmm.
being open to talk about this. So just like jumping on in
Okay. Yeah.
depression. So in your mind, like what does depression like look like what is depression in your sight, like in your mind?
I think that everybody kind of goes through depression, right? I think especially when you have a need or you want something or you've set a goal or you're reaching a dream and certain things don't go right, some answers aren't or some questions aren't answered. Those kind of things can take you into a place where you start questioning if this is really for you, right? If this is really what you are for, what you're created for. And so I think everybody at some point in time deal with depression. I mean, everybody's dealt with no's, everybody's dealt with hardships, especially my age. I mean, one thing you do is you learn that that's going to happen, right? But even in the moments that it happens, it can be kind of scary. It can be scary moments. So I think all of us really deal with it, especially like I said, we all pursue certain things. We all pursue sometimes greatness, and then sometimes it's very difficult to reach certain marks, and so you question yourself, and you sometimes can get down on yourself.
So,
Mhm.
like at a point, because I do agree, I do agree. At some point in life, we're all going to face, in the sense, the concept of depression.
Yes.
Um, so, in your, because whoever, everybody that knows you knows, you're hard to get in contact with, you're hard to like to get in touch with. So at what point in your busy busy life, because you never
Hmm.
stay still, so at
Hmm.
what point in your busy life did you find yourself in this the mindset of like, hey, I'm might be depressed?
Yeah, I think for me, it's always the concept of change, right? Change is a very difficult thing to do, right? I think that in any kind of moment when you're in the middle of change, be it your job, be it life, be it whatever it might be, things can get very difficult because you don't have answers, right?
Mhm.
Especially, I'm kind of one of those people that kind of want to know where I'm going,
Mhm.
I try to stand strong on being focused from time to time. But I mean, change was one of those things that hits kind of hard. And so I think in that moment for me, the concept of change, when I look at change for myself, it takes me to a place where I have to accept the unknown, right? I have to really sit down and really fathom the thought that I am in the process of waiting or grabbing the unknown, right? I can be very spiritual, of course. The goal is to walk by faith, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
goal is to trust God, right? But even in those moments of trusting God, I mean, your time is that's the scary part. Your time is not God's time, and so and sometimes it's hard to remind yourself that okay, in due season it will come.
Mhm.
And so you're questioning your steps, you're questioning what's happening, you're looking around you. Things might look like they're advancing and you're not advancing. And so in that moment of change for me, I've kind of been in those places where I really question. I question purpose, I question God. And that's a tough place to be.
So
Yeah.
like you're in this place.
Mhm.
Oh, hey Nikki. Oh, I think I'm going to see you on Thursday. By the way, I'm excited. But hey, Nick. Rome, say hi to Nikki.
I said, oh, my fault. What's up, Nick? You the host, man. You have to say that. I'm trying to be
No,
serious.
but you
Here we
you
go.
know her, so
I
you
do
know
know.
what to say.
That's my girl. What's up,
Yeah.
Nikki? Yeah.
But no. So but in that like that moment, that time, so you going through life, you feel like you have to have a clutch on life. You have to have
Mhm.
control in a sense over the next step and move. But you're in your flow. You're in you because again you're in go. You operate almost in every position that you're in. You operating in leadership. So you're in this
Yeah.
position, and then you finding yourself at this time.
Yeah.
How did you find that it was depression though that you're dealing with? How did you like
Um.
know that this was like at this point in my life, like I'm
Mhm.
still, working doing this. I'm still at the church doing this. I'm still playing doing plays. I'm the minister of music over there or
Mhm.
the MD over this. Like so you got all
Yeah.
this stuff going on, but how did you figure out like Jerome Johnson is
Mhm.
depressed?
I think just the quiet moments, right? The time where nothing is around, the time when you really have to contemplate and think, right? It's a true meaning to keep yourself busy so you don't have to worry about what's happening, right? I
Mhm.
think a lot of people do that. A lot of people make themselves busy because they don't have to deal with certain things, but there's going to be times where you have to deal with it, right? And so I think in those moments where it's hard to sleep, or in those moments where your brain is just moving, um, a million miles a second. It's just, I think at that point in time, you realize that you're not in a strong place. Not, now I will say, um, no, I could say I've even been in a very weak place, right? I mean, I've been in places where I couldn't sleep for days. I mean, there's been times in the process of change. that I really thought I was sick,
Mm.
honestly, and it was all the concept of depression. But I always say this too, depression, sadness, right, or a process of unknown, but it can also take you to very harmful things. Anxiety is huge, right? Um, Self-awareness is huge, right? And so when you start allowing that to lay on top of your sadness or your thoughts, you can really take yourself to a bad place. And so anxiety kicks in. You're questioning how you can sleep. You're wondering what's going on. There can be some physical attributes that happen.
Mm.
All of these things happen. And so um, that's a scary, scary place because you
So
still got to perform. You still got to
you,
perform, and I use the word perform because a lot of the saying, don't let you can't let the people see you sweat, right?
mhm.
So you have to try to stand as strong as you can be, but eventually it's seen. Eventually it's identified. So yeah.
So how because so again, like Mikey told you backstage, is organically going to happen. You're going to say something, and I'm going to ask off of that. So
Hmm.
again, with that, your leaders, you're in leadership. I
Hmm.
operate in several different positions with you, and you're in leadership, and you don't let the people see you sweat. But how is
Hmm.
that playing on you mentally? Like, because that to me would seem even harder because again, you're standing in front of people, they're seeking you for direction in a sense, and
Hmm.
you have to remain this in control person, and in your
Right.
like innermost being, you kind of like turning over, like you just like,
Hmm.
I want to give up, like I'm over this, like I'm just
Right.
done,
Right.
but you
Right.
remain. How do you do that? Like, how are you doing,
Um,
or I've done.
well, one, I'm a very spiritual person, very, very spiritual person, right? And so, even in my weakest moments, I'm yelling for God's direction, right? I'm yelling for His word. I'm yelling for an answer. And I do believe that if you seek, you shall find, right? And so, even in the hardship of the alone time, right? Um, I I thank God that I've been rooted enough to still seek God in those moments, right? Um, because God definitely is the person who changes all things. He can heal all things, right? And so I thank God for being spiritual. So I think that I lean, and it's funny. I always say people always lean on God when in the tough times, but then when things are all right, you seem like you don't. Well, no, I try to lean on God at all times, and I think the tough times through although scary, I definitely choose to talk to him and talk to him and talk to him and talk to him until I get an answer, some kind of answer, right? So I think that's how I cope. That's kind of how I cope. Um, um, I try to think positive thoughts, right? So I try to look at every experience in a positive manner. So
Mhm.
although I'm going through in my brain, I'm thinking about the positive side, right? What is to learn from this concept of change? What is to take from your past experience and then bring forward to make you a better person, right? And so that's kind of where my brain moves. And so I think that helps me. It helps me a lot when you talk about leadership. And then it's funny what happens with me a lot of times is I'm put in situations where I have to speak to someone about their situation,
Mhm.
and God is speaking to me at the same time.
Mhm.
Like it always happens where somebody is then asking me about something, not knowing that I'm going through, and the word God has given me, it just embeds right into my inner being. Like, and I just kind of after conversation, I'm always like, okay, thank you, God. Right, I'm hearing it. Right, so
That's amazing.
He's done that many and many times in my life. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. So the next question says, have you ever opened up about your experience with depression in your faith or in your work community? I know in your work community that's probably a little bit harder than the faith community because I mean in a sense, but even in the sense with the faith community, you still almost want to be cautious because you know
I mean, it's how you open up, right? I've opened up, but I've given maybe a relevant word, right? Again, like I said, when I speak, a lot of times God speaks to me, and so I try to be at times very transparent because I mean, some people are going through. You don't know
Mhm.
what people are going through, and so I have opened up, but I also and I'm huge on it, is I've taken time to do therapy. I've taken time to have conversations with individuals that can help your thought process, right? Help you look at certain things in certain ways. And so I think that's like super needed,
Mhm.
right? It's amazing, um, how if you can release some of those questions, some of those things can be answered, and some of that pain can be taken away.
Mm.
Yeah.
I love
Mhm.
it. I love it. So, because you kind of went there, and this wasn't one of the questions.
Yes, I
Uh,
see it,
it,
charisma. Yes,
yes, it is how you open up.
yes.
That's
Mhm.
good. Um, so with you going through this stage, with you going through battling like depression, and we've had this conversation in the past, so I do kind of know. But like, how did you find yourself like getting out of it though? Like
Mhm.
I heard you said therapy as a sense, but was
Mhm.
that right away? Or like what kind of steps? Like you're in this place.
Mhm.
Did you stay in it? Like was it like lingering
No,
situation?
I think because again, change, because my spiritual being, I do understand that change comes with blessings,
Mm-mm.
right? I always tell my kids, and they'll tell you, every last one of them, that every experience is to prepare you for the next experience,
Mm.
right? Every tool is a stepping stool for the next experience. And so I think for myself, the way I come out is the door then opens up to newness, right? And I have to, be excited about what God is doing, right? I think that helps me, in that moment come out. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. That's kind of how that's what preachers say, right? But
No.
in my mind, yes, you're going to go through the transition of change. Yes, you're going to go through, but if you can just stay fast, stay steadfast, and keep focused, that door opens, and then you start to understand why you had to go through, right? I realized in my concept of change that if I did not go through, I probably would have stayed stagnant,
Mm.
right? And so although depression came, although anxiety came, right? The concept of change, once that door opened, I thank God, because if I it had to be him. Because if it was for me, I would have not taken that opportunity.
No.
And so that's kind of one of those things where you talk about, ordering steps. But again, that's me being faith based, right? And I don't want to take away from the conversation of people who might be watching, who might not be that strong in their faith. I would say, first of all, get a relationship with God,
Mm.
right? That's the biggest piece of the puzzle for me, right? I think that the relationship with God, gives you an understanding that whatever you go through, there's a purpose of why you go through it. And so that's how I come out. I think, after the weight loss, after the crazy thoughts, after me looking crazy, I come out, and it's almost like, okay, well, God, I'm better than when I went in, because a part of me maybe would have been unhealthy, a part of me may have been, and so it just kind of helps. You thank God in that moment, for that life. Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree. So
Hmm.
like of course the lessons behind why you're going through, you like
Hmm.
you grasping that.
Hmm.
But are you able to and grateful that you're not in that place anymore, but like you're in that place at this time. Like
Hmm.
but and you're operating again still in leadership. Like
Hmm.
did you find yourself effectively operating? Or like did you find yourself like faltering anywhere? Like did you like
Um,
find like
that's if you
did you find
Yeah, I mean,
yourself
if people question your being, sometimes it might be difficult in those moments to be excited about who you are,
mm,
right? And that's the hardest thing. I think, if I could say anything on this call, I would tell everybody, don't question who you are.
mm,
Know who you are. Be excited about who you are, because in those vulnerable moments, when people question who you are, you start to question who you are. And then now you're taking yourself away from purpose. And so, I think that in those moments, I had to remind myself who I was, right? And it can sound cocky, but it's not cocky. God created me to be who I am, right? And so I think, I think know who you are so that when the naysayers or when things come about, you can still stand strong in your being, right? And then I think that helped. That
I,
really helped.
I
Yeah.
definitely think because just vulnerable or being vulnerable, I definitely have dealt with it myself. I think the hardest thing, and did I lose him? Um, the hardest thing, I'm just keep talking, is that when you're going through the sense of depression, when you find yourself in a state of depression, it's you got me, you hear
I'm
me?
sorry, I'm back now. Go ahead.
No, okay,
I'm not sure
perfect.
what happened. Okay, say that again.
Oh,
Sorry.
no, no, I was saying, just being vulnerable, open, because I've dealt with it myself. I just think
Mhm,
the hardest thing, because being a man of faith as well,
mhm,
I think it's because where you are in your walk, in your like walk with God, you have that like mindset that's kind of set. I do remember me being at a place, same like mindset, God's in control. God like is like ordering these steps and like I'm just gonna walk it. But then I also, I mean, because of course you and I had conversations, like found myself like I honestly questioning. And so that
mhm,
last point of you like recognizing, like holding on to who you are is definitely vital. Because I do
mhm,
remember finding myself in a place and like not liking who I was, not like appreciating who God created me to be, and what He created, what He instilled in me. Not finding value in self. That put me even in a deeper hole though.
mhm, mhm.
It put
Yeah.
me even
Yep.
lower. So
Yep.
recognizing that, being able to hold on to that, even in those times where it was where the concept or the mindset of depression was trying to seep back in, it wasn't possible because now at this point I know who I am.
Mhm,
I'm not letting this
mhm.
spirit come in and like take control of my mental, because
Mhm.
that's where it started. Like
Well, I think, yeah, I think that's why I say have a relationship with God. I think when you start talking to God, you understand the concept of purpose, right? I think we miss the concept of purpose. What is purpose, right? And a lot of people walk around questioning what purpose is, right? What am I created to be, right? What am I created to do? Why is, and then what happens is we start questioning why is my life not like such and such, right? Why am I not doing what such? Why am I? And because what God has for you is for you,
yep.
right? And so, but again, I'm not. It sounds strong right now. I'm not saying in those moments of vulnerability, those moments of depression, that it's that easy. No, like I said, many sleepless nights,
Hmm.
um, many times of turning over and grabbing the Bible and just saying, "Listen, God, give me something." Right? Give me some kind of word that I can recognize that you're here, right? Many days where I'm like, okay, what's the next step?
Hmm.
Telling myself, get up off the couch and you have to move forward, right? Those moment in times happen, right? And I think that, like I said, the closer you get with God, and the more you seek a relationship with God and try to pull yourself to purpose, I think it helps you tremendously when you get in those places, right? Because now you're growing. And
Yeah.
so that's the thing. I'm not the same as I was at 25, right?
Hmm.
So that moment in time at 25 is going to look at different at that
Hmm.
moment in time at 32, right? But you got to get through 25,
Yep.
right? So for my young people, you got to keep living, right? You got to understand the concept of building a testament to take you through to the next spot, right?
Hmm.
And so that's the biggest piece of the puzzle. I'm an old man now, so but even now I have to seek him when in the unknowns. Change is a very difficult thing that happens, and so you have to understand and seek him for real.
I'm grateful that you say that, and bring Charisma's comment back up after I say this. But I definitely want this for the record. Serious conversation, very serious. So while y'all watching, do us a favor, share this video, heart this video. But I want you to spread this video even the more, because my brother admitted he's an old man. So that's on record. He thought I was about to say something.
I thought I was gonna say something. I am. I am. It's okay though. I'm learning it. I'm learning. I'm
No,
accepting it.
embrace it.
No, there
Embrace
you
it.
go. I
Embrace it.
have to.
Yeah.
I
Well, can
have
we
to.
get charismas
No.
back up? What do you do when you feel like God doesn't have your steps ordered? Like he's nowhere to be found in the dark places.
Woo.
Charisma throwing them at
Um,
you because that's for
so,
you.
so again, I think so. We wrestle not against flesh. I'm preaching tonight. No, we wrestle not against flesh or blood, but those things that try to deter our mind away from God. I paraphrase it a lot, right? Um, and so I think um, God is forever listening if you have a relationship with Him, right? What happens is the enemy tries to take you away by
Mhm.
distracting you from your conversation with Him, right? And so once you get into that dark place again, it's very difficult to come out because now there's a lot of things that's weighing on you, right? It could have been at first you were just questioning one aspect, and now
Mhm.
you're questioning yourself as a person. Now you're questioning your being, right? I think that you have to be very careful on 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 just your approach when it comes to that, right? And again, I don't have the distinct answer other than make sure that you pay attention to the move of the enemy and the concept of purpose in conversation, right? Distractions are real.
Mhm.
Please understand that. If any of my family members and my kids, anybody was in front of us right now, I live on. We wrestle not against flesh or blood, but those things that try to deter your mind away from what really you're supposed to do, what really you're supposed to grab, what real understanding you're supposed to take from the situation. And so you have to make sure that you identify and pay attention to distractions,
Mhm.
because if you don't, you will fall into a place. And I've been there,
Mhm.
right? I've been there. So for charisma, what it took for me is a couple doctor's appointments
Mhm.
and um, a newness of change. So I don't want you to miss a couple doctor's appointments, no doubt, right? Because I was in a place where I thought that I could not get out.
Mhm.
And I'm talking to him and I'm reading, but like I said, it was so difficult. But in the process of change, I think once the change happened and identified the initiative of taking change,
Mhm.
God opened the door and things were well. And so to your point, charisma, I could just say, just make sure you don't make sure you pay attention to distractions and don't allow distractions to take you to a place where you're unsure about who you are as a person and what God has for you to do.
I definitely
Hopefully, I understand that.
I
Hopefully, I answered that.
No, I echo everything you said because I think that's true. I think the key point too, though, is to recognize that as well as we believe that God has a plan for us, the enemy has one as well. So recognizing that as much as God has our steps ordered, as much as God has our plans already thought after us, the enemy does as well. And if we allow the enemy to seep in, and he'll get in anyway, it be through situations, through our positions, our friends, our family, like whatever way he can get in, our car. It could be something minor. I mean,
Mhm,
you not finding your purse and that just ruined your whole day type situation.
mhm.
However, the enemy can get in, you have to recognize that thing and take control over it, recognizing that he's trying to kill, steal, and destroy.
Yes.
And if you allow it to happen, so keeping yourself around
Mhm,
positivity, keeping positive thoughts around you, affirming affirmations like positive people, changes of
yeah.
atmospheres, like stuff like
Yeah.
everything Jerome just said, I'm echoing, so I'm not even gonna repeat.
Yeah.
But
No, that's
yes,
good.
everything,
And for
everything.
those that are watching, begin to read your word. Begin to, again, like um, I say I'm old and I laugh about it, but I think sometimes what we miss is that we're not just living for ourselves, but we're living
Mm,
for the young ones that are coming from
coming
us, right? And if
behind
we
us.
don't raise up the child in which the way they should go, they're definitely going to depart from it. And so, encourage your young people to read. As you're reading, encourage your young people to read, because the more they can get closer to purpose, the more that they can start to understand that they do have purpose. When they go through these things that we go through, it's going to be a little bit more lighter for them to come out.
Mhm.
Um, and so uh, I'm in that mentor state. That's what I'm not a mentee anymore. I'm in that mentor state of trying to help people be better and help my young
What?
people live.
Well, technically, I mean, I'm really proud of you for embracing that because I get what you're saying. I feel like you're saying at your older age now, you feel like, but you've always been a mentor. So I don't
Yeah, yeah,
understand.
no, no, yeah, yeah. I have. I think, and I'm laughing because there could be some people watching now and say, Jerome always got an answer to something, right?
Oh yeah, I was, and I always had some
I,
kid with you. I always had some like somebody looking up to you, somebody you
yeah.
instructing. So yeah,
So I thank God for being an example, right? I put something on Facebook the other day of the importance of being an example, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. I did. I put something on. I can't remember what I said. It's on. Go look on the page. It's on there somewhere. But it's important to be an example. And again, an example doesn't mean that everything is correct,
hmm
right? That doesn't mean everything you've done was right, right? An example is being able to let them know that you've been there, done that,
hmm
right? And so that and there's ways out, and there's other things that can happen that can be done. Yeah,
I love it. I did want to bring that last comment back up. Thank you, Mikey. This segment is given Wednesday Bible study. Charisma out of all people is the churchiest of the churches. She's Chicago churchy. She's not even
no
Cincinnati
doubt.
churchy. That's a whole different type of churchy. And she goes up there and said, "We're doing Bible study on tonight." But
I think we need to. We
we
need
need
to.
to open
Where's all the 25 to 45s? Come on out. Let's look at this video and really cultivate ourselves to be
no.
better. No, but
No,
seriously,
no, really,
go
really,
ahead.
no, really.
Go
And
ahead.
but there's some tools as well that you can do. But I want to ask this next question, and then which will be our last question. And then I
Okay.
before we get off, I do ask every guest to kind of leave us with like words of wisdom. I call them a gem. So if you could drop a gem for us before we get off, that'd be great. So start to put that on your mind before this last
Perfect.
question,
hmm
or after this last question. So why do you
hmm
think it's hard for people, especially men, to admit that they're struggling, to seek help, to like find themselves in a place of struggling, and then like can openly admit it? Like, why do you feel? It's your opinion too, so he's
Right.
entitled to his
Because
opinion.
because men are stubborn, right? We're very stubborn.
Who?
We're very, very stubborn. I can honestly say that sometimes we think we know all, do all, right? And so it's very difficult for somebody to say, I don't got it all together,
Mm,
right? They sometimes people think men might think it's a sign of weakness, right? To admit to say I don't have it all together. Um, but I think that's one of the strongest things you can do,
mhm,
right? If you can be honest with yourself, then honesty happens with the people around you. And then you can get adequate help to still make you be the king that you are, right? Because I do believe that that all men, we're kings, right? We are created for kingship, but we go through issues. Life has taken us through. There's been some circumstances, situations that we have to go through as men in this world, especially African American men. And so, and not knocking any other race, because if you're watching, I think just as a man, it's a difficult task
mhm.
to be in a process of leadership and leading a flock or leading a family or leading a business, right? Not knocking that can't happen for women because there's many
It's
women that do
happening.
it, but
It's happening.
men, you're embedded that that's your purpose, right? And so, but you have to make sure that you are balanced,
Mhm,
major, right? I say balance is everything. I'm not a very organized person, so I keep people around me that can help me organize my thoughts because I have to stay balanced. If I'm not balanced, I don't know if he's hit me. No, 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 I appreciate you because balance has to happen. If you can stay balanced, then your thought process is better. And so to go back, you have to be okay with asking for help. You have to be okay with saying that you don't know or that you're feeling a certain way. Because I think if you can attack that, if you can look at that, if you can understand that, why is it the way it is? Now, I'm not even saying it's going to go away, but to get a better understanding of why you do what you do,
mhm,
or to have people around you have a better understanding that you are who you are because of this,
Mm.
I think it makes you a better person and it give you better opportunity to do what you're supposed to do.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. Y'all
Mhm.
heard it right from the most stubborn man in Cincinnati, Ohio. So the fact that
Yes.
he admitted it, I'm 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 here for it. I'm here for it.
No.
No,
Yeah.
because it's true.
Yeah.
I think it's definitely one recognizing it, acknowledging it, and then
Hmm.
just understanding that it's okay. It's okay
Hmm.
to say you're struggling. It's okay.
Yep.
In 2025, I like to say it like that. 2025, it's
Yeah.
okay to be in a place of struggle because there's
Yes.
people out here for that can support you. There's
Yeah.
resources out here that can help you. Even in our faith, we are believing that God will pull us through, but alongside that, there's resources. There's tools out here. There's people who are trained to help get you through things.
Right.
So we want to recognize that as a man, does admitting you need help make you feel like it takes away from your manhood? I honestly think that
I
is the
think it
case.
can.
I
I think
think
it can.
that's for majority.
It really is about the people around you,
Mm,
right? I think that if the people around you knock the fact that you're asking for help, you need to get rid of those people.
mm, mm,
Because I think I think it's okay for a man to ask for help, and it got nothing to do with manhood. It's the truth,
mm.
right? If you need help, you need help. That
Yeah.
doesn't mean that there's going to come a time when you don't need the help and you can become the help,
Mm,
right? But in the moments of needing you, it's okay to ask or say you need help, because that to me it humbles you, right? And you can't be any being without being humble.
I love it.
And so God will take you through processes of humble to make sure that you can go to the next steps of life. So I do think it happens, but if that's happening to you, and you're being ridiculed because people are knocking the fact that you say you need help, get away from those people.
Yes.
I definitely say that big
Yeah,
time. Like,
because
just
I
get away
feel
from
like we have to recognize that every human being placed on this earth needs help. At
yes,
some point in life, we'll need help. I mean, from the beginning, from your beginning, you need help.
yeah,
Throughout your life, you'll need help, and it's okay to recognize that you need help. To recognize that you're struggling, that you're not okay. I've battled with that. But I'm glad and grateful that I have wonderful people around me who can recognize that even when I don't, when I'm not able to admit it. And it's been wonderful. But that's when you
mhm,
have the right people around you as well. So
yes,
that goes to what
yes.
Jerome said. Having the right people around definitely help. Last question: can you define manhood? How does it take away from your manhood? So what she was saying, manhood.
She added
But
more questions. No,
yes,
so listen. So
we'll put you on
defining
payroll.
manhood.
You'll be good.
Right. So manhood to me, manhood is what people try to say that you need to be. Right. What the world has established you needing to be. Right. This prominent, um, 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 well-off being
Yeah, like a
that
figure.
can provide support. When need be. And so that's why I say get the people. That's why I say people question, get them people away from you. Because really, to me, manhood is your purpose,
Mm-hmm.
right? You're created to be who you are, right? And if you're created to be this concept of man, to be a man and be manlyhood, then is what God has purposed you to be, right? And you stand in your greatness of who God has created you to be. And even in the process of help, you're learning in the process of help, right? If you're assured on who you are, even when you're asking for help, it's a time of learning. It's a time
Mm-hmm.
of growing, right? That you're learning in these moments that, again, like I said, eventually down the line, those same testaments you can use to help somebody else. Those same tools you can use to help somebody else. You're in a different place. So hopefully I answered that. I think,
Yeah,
yeah,
I definitely think you did. It's just basically
yeah,
saying like manhood is definitely the like concept of what society deems a man to be.
right,
This the masculinity piece. This like the
right.
provider. This that like he operates like this. But I want to add on to that to whatever society, this for anybody, whatever society deems a norm, you still don't have to like find yourself in a place like of having to identify as. And it's a scary topic, so I'm gonna not jump too far in it. But I almost can respect this newer up and coming generation because that's what they're recognizing. I don't have to go about your social norms
Mhm.
with these titles and stuff. But I don't want to go too far into that. But at the end of the day, because but you don't have to. Just because society says a man operates like this and he does this and he do this, like my manhood is this. And it don't take away from me being a man. I know who I am. I know what I am. And just because you say that that's what you think a man is, that's yours. And guess what? You're entitled to your thoughts, opinions.
Always entitled to
You're
it.
entitled
Yes.
to it. And I
Yeah.
think that's the great thing about living in a free society. You're
Yeah.
entitled to feel, think, and acknowledge whatever you want, however you want.
Now
And
remember
that's
when
all.
Bible study. Remember when Bible study though. So I would always say too, when you're looking for purpose, there's a description in the word that can help you identify who you are as a
Mm,
person, right? And so if you're questioning who you are as a person, read your word.
mm,
Read your word. I think
it's in
that
there.
is huge. It definitely is
Mhm.
huge to identify who you are, who you are created to be, right? And so that's a major piece too.
I love it. I love it. So, so I'm not what you call it where I can multitask. I literally was sending a text message saying exactly what I was just saying. So I'm gonna put my phone down because I can't multitask. But
Mhm.
before we get off, I want you to drop that gem really quick,
Right.
and then we'll head on out.
Perfect. So the gem that I want to leave is um, this is not about us, right? Hopefully, this conversation is passed on to individuals who are really seeking newness, who are really having issues with identifying who they are as a person, right? Um, you know, I love preaching to the choir, but for what, right? The choir is the choir, right? I want to reach that person who's really going through. So please understand if you're going through, there are ways out. There are ways that you can get help, seek help, be okay with seeking help, find time to talk, um, find time to pray, right? Get into a quiet place, and it's okay to want to be different. It's okay to want to do different than what you've always done, right? We know the saying, if you do what you've always done, you can get what you've always gotten, right? But if you really want to do this, if you really want to identify some things that are supposed to be in line with your life, then try something new. Ask questions, seek help. There's a lot of therapeutical things that happen around the city. A lot of companies that are here that can help you out. But God, right? Get into your word.
Mhm.
Pray and then ask God to show what's to be next. So
I love
that's
it. I love it.
yeah,
Again, thank you so much for joining us. I know you got a busy schedule because you got to hop off and go to another meeting.
yeah.
So thank you, thank you, thank you. But
Thank you.
y'all check us out here every Wednesday at 6. But next week we're gonna be live at 6 p.m. Phenomenal guest. I don't know how we're gonna work this out, but we gonna take her from behind camera to in front of the camera. I'm excited about next week conversation because she doesn't like to talk on camera. So we're gonna have our producer on next week. I'm excited about this. Mikey to Michael Bobo will be my guest next week. We're gonna have a great conversation with her. We're here every week. There's some phenomenal activities for Mental Health Awareness Month that's happening this month. So we want y'all to check that out. That's Healing Peaks Reboot. Our CEO, Charisma Hazel, is the facilitator for that event on May 15th. Check it out. We have something happening on the 24th. Yes, that's May 24th, 4 days before my birthday, just FYI. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, the community
Yeah.
celebration at United Way. So check that out. And the AKAs, they're having an event.
Oh
It's
no.
a family mental health event, um, a cross generation affair, and it's happening at Hughes in Clifton, the Hughes STEM High School, and that's on May 29th, a day after my birthday. So check those events out, y'all. Support them, support them, support them. Y'all, again, we're here every week. Share, heart, love this video. Let somebody know this conversation happened. But I'll see y'all next week. Be blessed.
Peace out.